we're gonna move on to some.
Joining us.
We're gonna move on to Candace Owens, Crazy Town. We're gonna see what. So Candace Owens, I guess, apparently had Hunter Biden on. I didn't want to. I looked at her. This is probably going to be maybe more analysis of it. Man, okay, let me see if I can find like highlights or something. I would rather just see some highlights from it. Candace Owens, Hunter Biden highlights. We'll see if I can find something with just some highlights. Because it's an hour and 40 minutes, man. I can't, yeah, I can't do like an hour and 40 minutes of this. Okay, let's do just a portion. How about, okay, there's clips. Let's just do a segment from it then. How about that?
You know what the laptop
That seemed cool. Whoops.
That you were a crackhead.
Okay. This is a segment from that interview, so we're gonna watch this instead. And so hopefully we can like, do some actual reacting. The other one was just all commentary on it, which I want to give like my own commentary. So, and sometimes I choose clips like that, or like news people who are covering it, because they'll show clips throughout and I can like give some commentary on the individual clips, because I'm not going to watch an hour and 40 minutes of Candace Owens just to try to find like highlights to show you guys. People, I got, I mean, I have been off this last week, but I got a real fucking job that I got to do, So let's go ahead and watch this segment. It's about 10 minutes of Candace with Hunter, and we'll see what we think.
You know what the laptop proved?
That you were a crackhead.
There you
I think about what it was that, just revisiting what made a lot of people, including myself, so angry about you. Or I guess it wasn't really about you. It was the gaslight.
It's because he's hot. That's why they were mad, because he's hot.
It was the letter that came from people saying it was Russian propaganda. That is what is driving us crazy about the Epstein files right now. It's what's actually leading, ironically, to the collapse of the MAGA support, is we don't want to be gaslit.
Yeah.
And to be fair, it wasn't you. That's why it was so refreshing when you were like, yes, I had a crack addiction. This is me. I did this. I was with hookers.
Yeah.
But you weren't speaking for you. And there were literally a bunch of people that were coming out and saying, this is not real.
Yeah.
And that is the most infuriating thing.
Who was doing that? Because like maybe like MSNBC or something. I really don't know who was doing that, and I don't know. Okay, so Hunter Biden, he obviously had a crack addiction. Like he was a crackhead, like or like cocaine head. I don't know. He was probably doing whatever. Like I think everybody knew that, and so nobody was saying that that's a lie. Like we also knew that he had issues or whatever. I don't think anyone was denying that, so I don't really know exactly what she's saying when she said people were gaslighting about it. Maybe they were. It says the gaslighting, the Russia propaganda letter, the denial. So she's talking about like, did people think that this was like a Russian conspiracy or something, or like or that the laptop story maybe was like a Russian operative who did it or something. I honestly, I never heard about any of that, if they did. I don't watch like MSNBC in my free time. So if they talked about it there, I might have missed it. But I guess I just kind of assumed everybody knew that he was a crackhead, and that everybody knew that he like, maybe the selling of Ukraine, or getting like trying to get influence with Ukraine or something. Maybe was that a part of it as well? Like selling his paintings. I think I remember that. So maybe that had something to do with it. Anyway, let's keep watching. Maybe she'll dig into it a little bit more, because I honestly can't remember this like Russian thing that she said people were so mad about.
Because everyone's average. Everyone can connect with addiction. Everyone could have this conversation. Actually, if you would come out and I probably in that environment, obviously, maybe that would there would have been a different result
Yeah,
because we were at
Candace.
each other's
Yeah,
throats.
no, exactly.
But that is
I
what
get your
made
point.
people so angry.
Yeah.
It was like, nope, he never smoked
but-
crack. It wasn't real.
Yeah.
The laptop is Russian propaganda. We're like, guys,
Yeah.
what is this?
Yeah, by the way, is it
Who said that? I need to know who said that. Someone tell me who said that. I don't know who said that.
here's the problem, is that Steve Bannon saved and
Sorry, I gotta go back. He gave Biden energy real quick.
Yeah.
What is this?
yeah, by the way, is that here's the problem.
Here's the problem, man. Such a Bidenism, man. I guess they all inherited that way of talking. How's it going? Hello? My wife's saying hi, and one of our cats saying hi too.
Is that Steve Bannon saved and Rudy Giuliani saved the quote unquote laptop, which by the way is like if we can agree on that gaslighting, I will agree on the gaslighting of this. Is that it was never a quote unquote laptop. There was a hard drive
Okay.
of stolen and hacked material, wherever it came from, whether it came from a Delaware repair shop or whether it came, like Lev Parnas says, from Dmitry Firtash, who was trying to sell a hard drive of Hunter Biden's in Ukraine, that they were looking for before the laptop repair shop guy was ever.
I do think it was bullshit. I mean, the official story of that this repair shop guy like hacked into his like hard drive and like that he allegedly. Here's my quick understanding of the story: is that Hunter Biden left his laptop for repairs at a shop and never came back to pick it up. That shop owner then opened up, hacked into the hard drive, and then looked through all of it and then released like revenge porn or whatever of Hunter Biden, like having sex with multiple women and stuff just like trying to like mudsling for the Republicans essentially was like, that's kind of my understanding of what happened. And that is complete and total bullshit. I don't think that a repair shop should be in any way allowed to do that. I don't think if I left a laptop at a repair shop, I don't believe that person should be legally allowed to go through it and distribute revenge porn of me. That's just my personal opinion. Wipe your hard drives, people. And if you're ever getting rid of your technology, get a strong magnet, take it to the hard drive. It should wipe it in its entirety. But yeah, like this is, I do think that is completely unacceptable. And I do think he has standing, by the way, to sue that guy for doing that, because that's completely inappropriate.
For the twinkle in the eye, just go back and look at the record. Okay. So here's the thing, is you're absolutely right. And and this is like the freedom of being able to say this. It's like, yeah, they should have let me go out and talk.
Yeah.
But it was 2 weeks before the campaign, and then then the election was over. Steve Bannon goes on and with his buddy Gao, the Chinese billionaire that's now in prison, and that is like a Chinese spy or whatever. Where he got arrested on his boat and all that crap. There is go listen to it. Go listen to the recorded conversation in which they say, like, the laptop, like, we got him. We so we we collected all the salacious pictures and we put them out there. And then Rudy went out and stood on the steps of the Newcastle County Courthouse with Bernie Carrick and said, this contains child exploitation, like pure, pure, just, so on both sides, you have this reaction, which I don't think was necessarily a coordinated reaction in the sense that, what do you do in 2 weeks? And so they come up with this and they say, and I don't get to go out and say, no, I was. But you know what I did? Is that come April, I write a book and I tell everybody I was addicted to crack. And here's my story. And here's what happened. And here is all of the rooms that no one would ever want to admit to being in, that I was in. And it was like a blip on the radar. because everybody was now fighting about whether there was kind of a suppressed story on Twitter and whether there was a this gaslighting from,
Twittergate,
and by the way,
or the Twitter files. You remember that, man? Oh God, Matt Taibbi, I think, was a part of that. Man, they got what they wanted though. Twitter is now the right wing, CSAM filled hellscape that they always wanted. So congratulations, Matt Taibbi.
I am not here to defend any of
But
those
then it's
people.
part of like the political machine where they're like, we have 2 weeks to go to the election.
Yeah.
We're going to do this denial,
Yeah.
because we can't afford this right now, essentially.
Yeah.
And then we're going to table this, make it past these 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then by that time, first and foremost,
by
your
the way,
father won, right?
I'm going to go ahead and say this is one of the least unhinged clips I've seen from Candace Owens ever. I didn't know that she was ever like not like at 11. Like this is her at like a 5 or a 6. Honestly, no, this might be her at like a 3. Like she's being very not unhinged right now. I'm kind of hoping that she picks it up just for the content. That's what I hope. But for her own sanity, I kind of hope she doesn't. So I'm kind of conflicted here.
So, and so people are angry. They feel like the election's been stolen and that there was this entire collusion to cover a laptop, which if it was on the other side, they may have done too. This is what DC is. It's politics. But that is where I think the anger came from.
Yeah.
And it was just like,
I get it.
How dare you gaslight us? And then people then start making you this focal point of
it never had anything to do with.
Well, but I think she's misacknowledging something though. And this is kind of what I was getting at. Number one, I don't know where the Russia stuff is coming from or whatever. Maybe like I said, I don't watch MSNBC on a regular basis. So maybe I know that they did Russiagate, whatever. Back in the day, maybe they had some sort of, because Russiagate was like 2016, right? The Biden stuff was 2020, I thought. So I don't know if they were running stories about that or whatever. But the problem that I'm having here is that Republicans very often, or like right wingers, I should say, very often like hallucinate things that like they're being victimized about, right? They have a victimization complex where they aren't actually being victimized in any meaningful way, but they have to feel like they are. And so they will come up with like, oh, they're trying to lie to us. They're trying to gaslight us about saying that it was actually Russia when it wasn't, and so they'll get all like in a tiffy about that, and then it's like, but then who was making you mad about this? I didn't even know that this was a story. I didn't know that this was like a thing. So it's like they've like manufactured this villain in their mind that is like just oppressing them on a like hourly basis, and I'm just like, okay, try at least explain it to me better. Then if this is what's going on in your head, can you at least please explain it to me better? And she's not really doing that. But like I said, I don't know if there was some sort of Russia story around this. Maybe there was
With me,
right. It was kind of bigger than you at that point.
You know what the laptop proved?
That you were a crackhead.
Even if there was a Russia story about this, though, by the way, that who cares? Like, we all saw the Russiagate stuff, man. You don't have to take it that seriously. Like, it shouldn't make you that mad if the people who lied to you about like a Russian influence on Donald Trump or whatever, if they are like who lied to you about that, lied to you again about Russia stuff. Why do you care so much? Like, just ignore them. Just be like, yeah, you're just lying again, and just move on. It shouldn't make you that mad. She's acting like that was really what caused people to like freak out about the laptop or something. I'm like, no, or like the cocaine or whatever. I don't know. But the reason that the reason that people were like freaking out about it was just because it was a scandal. It was just any old political scandal that people were like trying to stop from, like politically weakening his campaign or whatever.
There you go.
And if you are a homeowner, you need to listen to this because it hasn't happened by breaking filed with the county. Then you or foreclosure notice if you are already a victim. History report and title record to 1 million.
Oh my gosh,
link
Candace.
in the description below.
All this,
by the way, I mean, I don't know about Title Lock, HomeTitleLock.com or whatever the fuck that was, but in general, I think just for fair warning, I think that title insurance sort of stuff a lot of time is kind of I don't want to say it's a scam, but like is like, you know, I just look into it closely is what I would say.
There's other, bribery.
Candace, or just use the link in the description below.
All this other, bribery and all these other things that they investigated up and down during the Trump administration with a Trump-appointed U.S. attorney, with the Trump-appointed U.S. attorney, the only U.S. attorney in the country to stay on and continue to prosecute me, who then became special counsel after I got a plea deal because I paid my taxes late. And I paid them with penalties and interest, and I owned a gun for 11 days while they say I was addicted.
Yeah, that was bullshit. That was bullshit. He was just a patriotic American, a Second Amendment loving patriotic American, and they came after him for having a gun just because he liked to party every once in a while. Come on, man. It is wild though. That is a wild thing to charge him with, because like that's just like I don't know, that's just like a Tuesday night in Florida. Like every single person is like high on cocaine and buying a gun. That's like their favorite pastime over there. So the fact that they were charging him was clearly politically motivated.
And check that box. That's it. Everybody has all the information. It's not like the Department of Justice has my digital footprint in every text message, every email. And there's not a single one in which you find that would in any way supports the really serious accusations of enriching my father, enriching himself somehow, or none of it. None of it's there. So I own whatever you want to call it.
By the way, I do think that he profited off of his father being president, but I also think that everybody connected to the president profits off of their connections to that person. Now Trump does it on an entirely different scale. Like he does it like 100 times more than everybody else does. But to some extent, everybody leverages their influence with their connections to people in power in order to benefit themselves. So I again, it's one of those things where like everybody does it, so it does feel like political persecution to go after him specifically.
I owned a laptop,
and I'm not saying you can't. I'm not saying don't charge anybody with this because everybody does it, because that's not like a solution or whatever. But I am saying I'm just trying to explain that it is like, you're picking and choosing who you want to go after when you do it.
Come, you know what? We can go through it together if you're willing to like avert your eyes to the tragedy of addiction. I mean, just the absolute tragedy of it.
Yeah.
But man, oh man, there is no space for that in discourse anymore. There's no space for the nuance of, well, that was addiction. That wasn't corruption. I did not do any business through entire 4 years. I became a painter. You know why I became a painter? Because it literally saved my life. I painted my whole life.
Well, no. You became a painter because the world of art is already a scam where you can make a lot of money for not being that talented. That is why you became a painter. Trust me, I do believe that he was he became a painter because he could you can sell a painting and be like, yeah, I think it's worth $100,000. And the person's like, oh, the president? Oh, yeah. Okay. I also think it's worth $100,000. That's why he became a painter. I do think that he was being, benefiting from that, in my personal opinion.
And Melissa instinctively knew that I literally needed to occupy my hands in early recovery, 12 hours a day, just, to be able to focus on not the crushing weight of the consequences of years of addiction. And so I just sat and I painted and I painted and I painted. And I decided to have a show in the gallery and, and offer my paintings for sale. And the New York Post comes out and says, Hunter Biden's selling his paintings for $500,000. I have never sold a painting nor offered a painting for $500,000 in my friggin' life. And by the way, everybody knows this. Because every painting that I sold, everybody that bought a painting had to pay about $250,000 to defend themselves before an impeachment hearing. Go read.
How much did they buy him for? Let me Google real quick. How much did Hunter Biden's paintings sell for? Hunter, according to The Guardian, I'm just going to pull this up here. According to The Guardian, Hunter sold art for about $1.5 million between 2021 and 2024. Okay, so I assure you that he was not that talented of an artist. Like, if he just picked up like drawing or like art, painting, like at that time period, he's not a renowned artist. He is not. I guarantee you. Let me look up Hunter Biden's art now. Hunter Biden art for pictures. Oh, shut up, Siri. She said, okay, I'll shut up. Here, let's look at some of these. Okay. Look, I'm not saying they're bad. They're actually not that bad. I was expecting them to be a lot worse, to be honest. However, they definitely, like, I don't know how many he sold, but they definitely aren't worth $1.5 million because, to be honest, well, art is obviously, the price is subjective, but usually you only get up to like those types of sales and stuff after you've been in the art world for a while and have made a name, and have, like, you know, accumulated the prestige necessary to do that. And he did not do that. So anyway, that's my thoughts on that.
The transcripts of people under oath. But regardless, is the laptop absolutely proved nothing, but it became this cultural touchstone. It was like it embodied the Biden crime family.
Mm-hmm.
And if you wanted to be able to,
great messaging, by the way, from the Trump administration, the Biden crime family, or like that phrasing was incredible.
believe that, not wanted to be able to believe that. If you believe that because you're being told that by people that you trust, that have told you that your election was stolen, that your democracy was thwarted, that the process was unfair, is that all you had to do, and I get this, is look at the pictures. Right? Doesn't look like a good guy to me.
Right. Because
He
you
looks
weren't a
like
good
an
guy
awful
in the
guy.
pictures.
No.
Yeah. So it's
Smoking
not
crack in a
really
motel room with a prostitute.
right. Like, yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like they come out and like they're saying, oh, like this, all, like I admit it all. Not only admit it all, I own it all. I will own everything, the worst of it, all of it.
Well, there you go, people. I was kind of hoping it would be a little bit more unhinged than that. Maybe there'll be some more clips that come out that we can watch at a later date that is a little bit more unhinged. But okay.